Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and it's a whistleblower kind of day here over at the Burmis Brigade. And we're going to talk about the guy behind me, John Kiriakou, probably butchering that name. Maybe not so much some of the other names I butcher. But for those that don't know, we'll go in depth of how important that man was because he blew the whistle on torture via the CIA publicly and then served prison time for it. That's a whole side story, because let me tell you something. After he blew the whistle on that, he said something that should shake every single person in this country that wants to talk about our intelligence services in a positive manner to their very core. Let me repeat that. To their very core. If you're supporting an intelligence community that not only this man behind me exposed as serial torturers, well, I got news for you. It gets worse. It gets way worse. Because at an event, and right here, by the way, over on the side, that's Ray McGovern. You can watch him, who was a longtime CIA analyst, and under George H.W. Bush, he's in Fabled Enemies. But right now, he's asking about the procurement of children for CIA assets. Let me repeat that again. The procurement of children for CIA assets, and how it is something that they absolutely do. Now, if you followed my channel and you've seen my interviews with Derek Bros and the information that we had on the Finders and the Franklin scandal and the connections to the Central Intelligence Agency, then maybe this won't come as such a surprise. But we're going to play this video and we're going to let John Kiriakou blow the whistle yet again on a super important subject.
So he's been vetted and he's really great. So you're in this hotel room and you're meeting with him. And at the start of the meeting he says, listen, before we meet, I want to tell you, I've given you everything. I've told you everything that's been true. You saved American lives. Now you're going to do something for me.
And remember, this is him talking about interactions with assets overseas.
You're going to go out and you're going to get me a prostitute right now, or I'm never cooperating with you again. So I want to see a show of hands. How many people would get him the prostitute? Some, not many. The answer is sure. I mean, you know, he's a scumbag, of course, but your job is to deal with scumbags, and you would be expected to go out and get him the prostitute.
You would be expected to go out and get him the prostitute. He's a scumbag, of course, but he's your scumbag. He's your asset. So what are you going to be directed to do, Mr. Kiriakou? Hey, maybe the people in the audience wouldn't do it, but absolutely, he said in every single case a CIA officer would get him a prostitute. Life of Brian, thank you so much for the super chat. It says, it is time to do a classic WRC confrontation of Alex Jones. Let's not rustle that bear. I do appreciate the super chat, my friend.
What if he asks for a child prostitute?
Let's just stop there. What if he asks for a child prostitute? First of all, in my eyes, there are no child prostitutes. There are victims of child abuse. There are children that are sexually abused and sold on a black market that is so demonstrative, so demonic. It is hard for the average person to even believe it exists, let alone that our CIA would take part in something like this to get their assets, children to abuse. But let's continue.
Absolutely not, under any circumstances. But that's not the CIA talking, that's John Kiriakou talking.
So John Kiriakou, he's not going to do it. And when we're going to get into Kiriakou's story because it's really interesting. But here's a guy, and there are good people, you know, in the police department, in the FBI, in the Central Intelligence Agency, in the National Security Agency. But it is such a leviathan being used by the military-industrial complex, we cannot expect it to be a good thing.
Because there's no rule. Your job as a CIA case officer is to break the laws of the country that you're serving in. That's your job. Your job is to commit espionage, which in most countries is a death penalty crime. Your job is to convince people to commit treason for you because they like you so much, or they like the money that you're giving them so much. So, because it's the nature of your job to break the law, there are no rules that are written for you to carry out that job. Now, the problem there is that most CIA case officers would procure the child prostitute. And even if they felt funny about it, they would be told by headquarters, you have a job to do. This is a bona fide source here. Go do your job. That's the problem, or the nature of the problem, of ethics and intelligence operations. There are no ethics in it.
There are no ethics. Do your job. Get him the child prostitute. This is an ex-member of the CIA truthfully telling you how it works, how this happens, how this continues. Where is the outrage? Do you think that it should maybe be front page news across the country? Former CIA agent who blew the whistle on torture and was vindicated, who served prison time, outs the CIA as an agency that procures children for its assets. But nowhere to be seen.
Intelligence operations. I've come to the conclusion after all these years that there probably doesn't need to be a CIA.
And I'm going to end it there. Damn right it doesn't need to be. And for those unfamiliar with this story, I suggest you go check this out. It's a 10-minute TED Talk. It's not perfect by any means. You can get a lot more extensive into it. But it tells you how this was a guy pre-9/11. It's kind of, in counterterror. Actually thought his job was fun. Had been to over 60 countries, traveled all over. But in the wake of 9/11, he gets positioned in Pakistan. And then later on, he gets propositioned by another officer to be trained in enhanced interrogation techniques. Enhanced interrogation techniques. Let me tell you something about those torture techniques. We still haven't seen all the pictures and videos of the abuse that went on and still goes on today at Guantanamo Bay, Abu Ghraib, and many, many, many other black sites you have not heard of. That is the truth of the matter. That man, for exposing the torture program in publications in the United States and on television, at first didn't think anything was going to happen to him. And then, because he exposed it under the Bush administration, while they were telling lie after lie after lie after lie. But hey, Obama's in office, he must have been okay. No, let's reopen the investigation. Then let's charge him with espionage. Then let's give him a $1.1 million lawyer bill going against the most powerful entity possibly in the world. So he's forced to take a deal where they give him 30 months. He serves 23 of those months, almost 2 years in prison for simply saying, yes, there is a torture program, and no, it does not work, and no, we should not be doing this. A real whistleblower. And guess what? We largely ignore his story. We largely don't care about his story. All right? And it's abhorrent to me. Now, earlier today, my buddy was over here, and I was telling him how I was going to do this video. I said, hey, I'm about to do this video on a CIA whistleblower. And he goes, oh, like the Ukraine guy? And I said, no, not the Ukraine guy, a real whistleblower. Not some Johnny nonsense bullshit in a witch hunt, but somebody who actually not only exposed the torture and abuse of people, but then I played him that clip. Let me tell you something. My friend left quick, and he left upset. And he said, wow, that was really heavy, and his face changed. And it's a reality he didn't want to accept, but it's reality nonetheless. And for me, that's what's important. Exposing the truth about what's going on around us. And that's why this channel is never going to be about left and right, never going to be about partisan politics, but always going to be about right and wrong. I am a documentary filmmaker. They are all for free. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order to Find and Shade the Motion Picture can be found right here, right now, in the documentaries section, all on a playlist. Please go check them out. Please share them with other people. Thumbs this video up. If you're new to the Burmese Brigade, please hit that subscribe button right now, because we're doing it 3 to 7 times a day. And folks, we did it. We hit 35K today, 35,000 strong. We're going to hit 40,000. We're going to hit 50,000. We're on the way to 100,000. And hopefully together our voices will no longer be silenced. And somehow, some way, we can start holding this national security state to some kind of accountability. And take in some of these warmongers and let them know it is not okay to surveil the American people. It is not okay to send our brothers and sisters abroad to wars of aggression, which we have no business in whatsoever. And it is not okay to oppress us here at home while going after whistleblowers who are exposing your crimes, like Kiriakou, like Snowden, and like Assange, if you saw my previous video with Taylor Hudak of Action for Assange. These are important issues. These are the issues of today. And if you like what I do, if you want to support me, $5, $10, $15 on my GoFundMe is how to do it. I'm doing it with your help and only your help. There is no Patreon. There is no Subscribe Star. George Soros ain't backing me. Lawrence Rockefeller ain't backing me. There ain't no big money coming by the way of Burmese, okay? I'm an honest guy. I'm trying to make it in this crazy mixed up world by telling the truth and getting the word out, and I'm doing it with your help. So thank you so much, and I will see you all on the flip side.